Okay, thanks, Dan. Welcome, everyone. So in this session today, we're going to be covering the content creation tool that we call Content Composer. This is an alternative experience to the traditional Library Explorer or Web Content Authoring portlet. Content Composer is a feature that is available when you have DX deployed on a Kubernetes platform, very similar to the digital asset manager. So today is designed to teach you about some of the unique advantages of Content Composer, above and beyond the features that exist in the core content creation capabilities of DX. So some of those things that we're going to show today are, how Content Composer allows you to create content with fewer clicks. You can get quick access to common tasks without having to navigate through folders. You can use drag and drop to build your content authoring templates, which significantly reduces the clicks when you're setting up your data model for your web content. And then there's also type ahead or search that works whenever you're selecting templates or selecting content items. You can quickly get access to those things using the integrated search features. And then we'll look at the version comparison tooling and some of the AI assistance and collaboration capabilities that exist within Content Composer. So let's hop into our demonstration here. So I'm logged in here to the Practitioner Studio as one of my content authors. Her name is Sarah. She has navigated into Content Composer, which you can find here under the web content section of Practitioner Studio. And we're going to start with creating a template. So there's two main actions that you can take within Content Composer. You can create content or authoring templates, which define the data model for your web content. And then you can create individual unique content items based upon those templates. When you come into Content Composer, you will immediately see all of the libraries that you have access to in the left-hand column. You'll see this button here to create content items, and then there's a search bar for searching content items and content templates. So again, the goal today is to show you how you can accelerate your content lifecycle and get these common tasks done much quicker with Content Composer. So let's start by going into creating a content template. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create a content template that is for a traditional news style article. So we're just going to call this the WebSphere News or the webinar news article template. And then we need to select a location for that. So in the standard interface, you may have to do that through navigating through folders. Here with Content Composer, I can just type in the name of the library that I want my template to exist in, and the search kicks off as I type in the name and provides me with different options or the options that match that search criteria. So I select my library, and then I get to work building my template here. So to build this template, we can drag and drop from the right-hand side of the screen onto this canvas. So we're going to build an article. So that's going to start out with a headline. So let's just bring the short text over here and fill out a headline. We'll give it a headline for the name. Then we're going to have a summary for our article. So let's just bring a standard text field. Then next, let's see, we'll have an image that goes along with our article. And we'll give that a name. And then some rich text for the body of our article. So let's just give that element the name of body. And then finally, we may want to entice our users to take some sort of conversion after they read an article, fill out a form, sign up for a service, and so forth. So let's take a link action item here and add a link as my last element. So you can notice here, if you're familiar with the existing Library Explorer, there would have been some extra clicks to go between pages to add these elements. Here with Content Composer, I've been able to just drag and drop them onto the canvas. And then one of the features I find useful is sometimes these elements, I may not add them necessarily in the final order that I want them to be in. So I can actually just use drag and drop to move these elements around within the content template. So if you have any existing content templates that have a rather large set of elements and you want to rearrange them, this is a very quick way to make those changes. Okay, so now we have our 5 elements set up. We can move along to set properties around those elements. So say, for example, if you wanted to limit the number of characters an author could put into the headline field, you can specify minimum and maximum characters. You could specify some help text as well, and set other parameters around these properties. One of the things I really like to point out is the ability to set default text inside of your content template. And this is an opportunity for you as the content owner or content management template creator to help your authors understand how to write great content and how to deliver their messaging. So for example, in this headline, let's give our content authors, something to think about. And instead of them seeing a blank field whenever they use this template, let's tell them, hey, write a headline that would make you click. And then for the summary section, instead of something that says, hey, enter a summary here, we could say, this is really your why should I care section. And then we could set a default like placeholder image if you had some specific requirements around the rendering of the UI. And then for example, and then so we finished it up with some links, and maybe we put in a title here or a link text that says, hey, point your user toward the finish line. They've read your article. Now give them really great call to action so they click the link and sign up for the service. So those will be some of our defaults that we have in the content template here. And we'll see how that comes to life in the next step. And then finally, the workflow. So you can create templates that you can tell that not to have a workflow. You can force a workflow, and you can set a default workflow. So again, if I want to find a workflow here, I don't have to search for a specific I don't have to go look for a specific library. If I know the name of the workflow, I can just type in the name, sorry, not exercise, one express. I can just type in the name here and I can get to my workflow. I can see workflows quickly pop up, and I'm just going to select express workflow for now. And so now we have our template ready to go. We've built it through drag and drop, and we've set up our default content to help our content authors create some really great content. All right, so let's save this. And once it saves, we will come along and we're going to create a new piece of content from that. So we have our webinar news article template has been created. Our next step here is to create an actual piece of content that we would use on a website, or perhaps use through a mobile app or whatever headless channel you may want to be consuming this content from. All right, so we have our article article template that's going to appear once we select it. So first, we need to give it a name. So we're going to write an article about why drinking water is good for you. So the content template, our webinar news article that we just created. So our template populates, and then we need to select a location for it. So you see how easily I type in the name of the location, and it gives me options based upon that search criteria. So quickly select the correct location. And then we can see automatically populated is the default text that we included in the template. So now I understand as an author what I'm supposed to do with each of these fields. So let's just fill these out real quick for the purposes of our article. We've got a headline there, and then a summary section, and we've got our native integration with the digital asset manager. So let's pick an image to support our messaging here. Let's see. Let's just create a new one here. Create a hydration collection. Upload our image. Select that image. There we go. We've got our image populated from the digital asset manager. Finish up the main body of our article. And see here we have the rich text editor, which maintains kind of the formatting that comes over from my document that I copied from. And then finally, we want to have if users read this article, what we want to do is have them sign up for an exercise plan. So we have our text to display here, and maybe we'll put in the link to go with that. So we've set up our article based on the template, and now we'd like to use AI to help enhance this content. So the first built-in AI is the ability to generate a summary about this content. And this summary can be helpful in improving search results, and making the content more accessible. So if I click on generate here, we see that my description gets generated successfully. So it's analyzed the article, the content that I've put in so far, and generated a short summary of that. Then when I come down to my body, or any of these text fields where you see the light bulb appear, I can use that to analyze the sentiment inline. So this one actually gives a poor rating. So we may want to have, that gives a sign that we want to improve this content, perhaps. Talk about some more positive impacts of drinking water than maybe some of this. Perhaps if we took out some of the dehydration items, and we analyze the sentiment, that'll give us a better positive result on our content. And then finally, one last step here to help with AI, where AI can help, is generating keywords, again, to improve searchability and tagging of content. I click on the generate, it goes out and analyzes my content. It automatically adds some keywords. I can subtract and add additional keywords as necessary in the keyword field here. So now I've created, so let's just say, save this. Oh, I've already done that once before. Did not clean up my pre-work from the test there. So now we have our content successfully created. We've used we used AI to enhance it by adding to the description, checking sentiment, and adding keywords. So one of the other so moving on to some additional kind of features of Content Composer that make it easier to use existing features of WCM is the access to the visual version tool, as well as collaboration through comments. So let's see. So we have one version so far. So we need to make some updates here so we can have something to compare if we have multiple versions. So let's change some color of text here, and then maybe add some simple text changes in another field. So let's save this, and that's going to automatically create version 2 for us. And so this, so now we can bring up our comparison. And what this does is it gives you power as an author or a reviewer to see very quickly what has changed between your two pieces of content that you're comparing. So along the left-hand side here, we see the current article, which is V2. It's being compared to the original article, which is V1. And anywhere there is a difference, it is highlighted with a blue dot, the differences. We can see the headline is different. We can see the body is different. Now with large articles, you may want to condense this to see just the changes. So you can check the box up here at the top of the screen, and you're able to just reduce the view to what has changed, and you can quickly see the differences between the two content items. Now, if I wanted to say, okay, we're not going to approve what's in version 2, we want to revert back to version 1, we can just simply create this or hit the make current button, and that's going to restore version 1 as the current version. And so that's a unique feature of Content Composer, giving you that visual comparison side by side in one screen. Then next is moving along to comments. So comments is a feature that is part of the standard WCM process or platform. With Content Composer, it gives you the comments in line here with the content, so you can see the content and the comments at the same time in a threaded experience. So let's say Sarah has since she just moved from version 2 back to version 1, we could say the color of the body lead-in was incorrect. And so she's able to leave a comment there, and this comment will be a start of a collaborative workflow between her and the other authors that are working on this piece of content. And when anyone visits this page, if they visit Content Composer and open the article, they can, it's very obvious and visually recognizable that there have been comments added by this #1 badge, or it'll show however many comments exist. And so other authors can come along and contribute to the collaborative discussion around the content while viewing the content on the main section of this page. So again, it improves that collaborative capability above the standard experience. So we've seen here how Sarah created created a content template, and then helped her set her authors up for success by specifying the default fields. And then Sarah came along and used that content template to create a new piece of content and enhance it with AI, and then take some versioning and collaborative actions against that content, all within Content Composer. We're staying on the same screen, reducing the number of clicks, and improving the speed of the experience of creating content. So this is my cat decided she wanted to join the meeting here. Give me just one second to reorganize myself. Stand up. So yeah, so Sarah has now created this content and done it much faster than with the help of Content Composer. So this is why Content Composer was created, for this specific use case of high volume content creation, making it very easy to come in, do the work of creating an article, and completing that successfully. So I wanted to, that is kind of the standard process of creating content. So what I wanted to do next is show something exciting that we're doing with WCM, and can sometimes be sort of an overlooked feature, and that's the ability to use what are called webhooks within your WCM workflow processes. So I have a demo here that I want to take you through in Content Composer, but this could also be within work. This is based upon the standard workflow process, so this also works with the Library Explorer and traditional content. So the purpose of this is how to use AI within Content Composer or within DX to enhance your content. So we're starting an article here, like you saw in the previous demonstrations. And this article is going to use a workflow that is configured to utilize a webhook from an external agentic platform that's going to enhance the content. So as a content creator within Content Composer, I'm able to use the description field as a prompt. And this prompt is going to be married with a master prompt for creating content. And that master prompt may contain, guidelines around branding and content strategy that matches the content strategy of your organization. And then your job, or the job of the content creator, is to specify, the specific topic of this article. So I enter the prompt in about creating a car insurance article. We're going to select the template that goes with that, with this type of content. So the template has been selected. And then here we move on to workflow. This is where we're going to select our AI pipeline workflow. And we're going to submit only the title of the article as well as the description into the workflow. The workflow is then going to call a webhook, which is going to point to an AI agent and pass along the content ID of the newly created content article, as well as the prompt for creating new content. So that agent, the agent you're seeing on the screen here, is an N8N platform for running agents, but really it would work with any sort of agentic platform that supports a webhook call into it. So now, when the workflow ran and passed along that prompt, the information was the agent generated an article for us and automatically placed that content into the appropriate fields inside of the template. And one of the really interesting things about this is that you're able to make these webhook calls and the connection with the agent without having to write any server-side DX code to enhance the workflow experience, since this is a standard feature in DX workflows calling webhooks. So now the article has a title and summary, and all of this has been enhanced through the use of the agentic platform. With the main message being here is that DX provides a friendly method for you to enhance your content, no matter what it be. Having an agent review the content for certain standards, having agents take transformations on your content before it's published or after it's published, just depending on the types of actions that you're taking in your workflow. So that's an interesting bit that I wanted to share with you all today. To complement what you saw with Content Composer, is the ability of DX to support that webhook functionality. So Dan, that concludes my my overview and demonstration today. So I'll ask you kind of if we have questions or where we go from here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jason. So for everybody on the phone, if you have a question, please post them in the chat, or if you want and ask a question live, you can do that too. Just raise your hand and then I can unmute you. So that's how we'll do any Q&A in case you have some Q&A. And yeah, it's this. We wanted to review this because it's a tool that's very good at what it does, and it's quick and easy in general to build the forms as well as build the content. So we wanted to make sure that everybody understands this and can learn more about it. So, we do have a question.
Yeah. So Leon's asking, with Blueprint being shipped, how does Content Composer work with Blueprint? Yeah, certainly. So Content Composer is going to be there to create whatever types of content items you need to support your marketing messaging or support your content. With Blueprint handling the front end of rendering and providing you those components to render your site, Content Composer can definitely support those Blueprint templates, and using the content templates that come from the Blueprint design system to create content for that new capability.
So, Jason, is Blueprint helping us with the presentation part, or is it also part of the Content Composer? If you can tell me more about that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Blueprint, this is a new capability that we've recently released. And Blueprint provides about 120 different types of page components that can be used to design your site. And I believe, let me make sure. And an example of those Blueprint components are seen on the NextHaven site, which is the newest sample site that ships with DX. So every part of this page that you see, all the components on this page are part of Blueprint. So that, all the way from this carousel to the accordions, cards, and section headers. All of this comes with the Blueprint design system, which you can drag and drop onto the page to create and extend your site. Thanks, Dan. I'm
Yes,
glad you asked
that
me
was
to
good.
elaborate on that.
Is there any other questions today? And you can ask Jason anything because he has all the answers, right, Jason?
Yeah, certainly. If you're interested in any of this content, we can always do follow-up sessions specific to your use cases.
So we have a question from Leon. If Jason, go ahead and read that.
Yeah. So Leon's asking about we have a new feature that's called Presentation Template Designer. Um, so it's that part is sort of a peer of Content Composer. It is Presentation Designer is being looked at as a way to uh, create the rendering of your content without having to write HTML. Um, so Content Composer is where you create the content, your text, images, templates, and so forth. And then Presentation Designer is the on the other side is how do you want that content to look on your website? What is the styling and the branding and how to and how do you design your content? So I'm expecting to see much more from Presentation Designer in the future, especially as we expand and merge in with Blueprint.
Jason, for delivering this and giving some details on the secrets of Content Composer. And we will see you next on April 16th.